Okay, we are on film. I'm going to turn my video off for a second while I get to the office safely. And I just want to thank you guys, as always, for your participation. It was really awesome to see your messages yesterday as you were learning through Mega Camp, and I'm really excited to hear some of your biggest ahas. So make sure that you are ready to share. So we're going to start off with something that popped up yesterday. But at the end of the meeting today, I want to make sure that everyone gets an opportunity to share something that they learned. And this really embodies something that I think is super powerful and very unique at Keller Williams, which is we're a company that's full of people that are willing to share, right? And for those that have not worked at other companies, this is the way it is everywhere, just so we're clear. And I'm proud to be in business with everyone. I'm excited to hear what your ahas are. And please understand that for those that either made the investment or won the ticket, I appreciate you sharing. For those that did not or are not participating in Mega Camp, that's okay. That's the beauty of being in a community with people that are like-minded and learning-based. And next time around, you'll make the investment and you'll share your ahas with others. So it's just going to continue to blossom in that way. So I'm going to turn over the call to Candace, and Candace is going to introduce her brand new co-op agent, Zachary Haddock. Zachary is working with the buyer, Candace is working with the seller, and Candace is just going to do a little case study on offers and the presentation of offers and help you guys better understand what a winning offer looks like, and maybe some of the ways that the losing offer could have made their offer more enticing and more appealing to Candace's clients. So Candace, take it away.
Good morning, everybody. And I just want to say thank you, Zach, for being on here. I promised I would not call on you, but I wanted to recognize you. And the reason I wanted to bring this up is because I have a listing. It's a townhome listing. And we had two very similar offers, very similar, both above ask price, both accommodated terms that my client had asked for, both had appraisal gaps. But the difference that made Zach's offer stronger is textbook Keller Williams. And it's that his client has, first of all, the other agent has a lender that's a big box lender that she's worked with before. And the lender was very communicative. But Zach's lender is one of their alliance partners. They're in-house lender like our shelter lenders, which lets me know a couple of things. And I spoke with her and she was very reassuring about the client. But what I also know is that the appraisers that our local lenders have are a little above average. So the likelihood of the home appraising is much better.
Can you go into just a tiny bit more detail about that? I want to make sure everyone really understands what you mean by that.
So not all appraisers are created equal. There are appraisers who, in this market, as busy as they are, they don't bother to go in the home. They don't bother. They're just doing a slack job. But the appraisers that are affiliated with our alliance partners are not those appraisers. Those are the appraisers that actually do the work, and they really evaluate, and they have a lot of experience. So that was a reassurance. The other thing is that his client has already been through underwriting, so there's no financing contingency. That's also textbook Keller Williams. And that lets me know that Zach has been engaged and learning and paying attention. And I'm going to go out on a very thick, short limb and say that I'm sure that he attends a lot of training in the office, and he's an experienced agent. But the other thing that made the difference was both agents called. Both are great agents. Both agents let me know that they were submitting offers. The other thing about Zach's offer is that he assured me, and I confirmed with the lender, that the appraisal would be turned around in 10 days. Both offers had an amendatory clause. So that means that my client's risk is 10 days at the most to take her home off the market versus all the way to closing. Both were similar closing dates within days of each other, but still it's a difference of at least a week or two. So I just wanted to say that I wanted to say, I kind of piggyback on what Bill said and said that at Keller Williams, we have the tools and we have the training and we have the support to win on behalf of our clients, both as the listing agent. To have this offer come in this strong was fantastic, and both on Zach's offer because he went for his client. And I'll tell you a little bit about the other offer. The agent was working on behalf of her mom, so it's extremely disappointing. Her mom wanted that condo. So there's a couple of things that are going to happen after this. One is that once we close, I'll reach out to this agent and invite her to come take a look at us, because she would have probably won had she had these tools. And the other thing is that I'm going to write letters to everyone in the community and let them know that there's an opportunity, if they want to list their home, that there's a buyer who wants to live in that community. So I want to find I'm kind of, even more than I want the listing, I want to find a home for this other agent's mom. So anyway,
Candace, was it the townhouse
yes,
from the open?
yeah,
Oh, that
yeah, I
lady
know.
really loved that.
I know. And it was disappointing, but I have to do, and she understood. And I also called her and said, would you like to be in first backup position? And they accepted that. So we have an offer and a first backup position. And she understood, you have to be in this market. It is very disappointing to lose an offer, and we have to be respectful of the fact that people take the time. It takes a while to put together an offer and to do your best for your client, but not everybody has what we have. So I just wanted to say, if anybody ever tries to recruit you away from Keller Williams, and I speak with experience because I've been with other brokers, you can't represent your clients the best at other brokerages because you just don't have the tools and the support and the training. So if I sound like I drink Keller Williams Kool-Aid this morning, well, it's more like Powerade. So that's what I have to say. And thank you, Zach, so much. I really appreciate your hard work and your excellence for making this a win-win. Yeah.
Zach, do you want to share anything about, I don't mean to put you on the spot, and I do appreciate you spending some time with us today. Do you want to share anything about any successes that you have had in this particular market, getting your buyers' offers accepted?
Yeah. So what I've been having the most success with was what Candace said. Being able to have the 10-day appraisal has really helped out, and also reaching out and communicating with the agent. I spoke to Candace right after I had emailed her my listing, and I was able to tell her, right after I emailed her my offer, and I was able to talk to her about the offer over the telephone. So she was confident before she even was able to pull it up, what was going to be in that offer. At least that's what I feel. I felt like I had that our conversation went like that, Candace. So I think communication, and then, just like coming on this team meeting today, for me, I think developing relationships, especially within the Keller Williams community, is huge with success for, being an agent. I try to meet every single person, and just be able to attend your meeting for 15 minutes before my team huddle. I got to meet all you great people, and I think that's the most important part, is the relationship building. So
okay,
really
Zach,
great.
which office are you out of?
I'm out of West Cobb.
Okay, so you serve like Paulding County, and tell us what areas you serve in case one of our agents doesn't want to make the trek to your part of town.
Absolutely. I serve Paulding County, Rockmart. I do all of Cobb County. I go to Cartersville, Bartow County area. Pretty much all of the West Atlanta area. I'll cover that area.
Okay, perfect.
Rockmart is a cool place. Aren't you close to the Silver Comet Trail?
Yes, I live in Paulding, so I live right off of right off Ivy Gulch. So we're right by the Silver Comet Trail, and all of our friends live around there. So it's really cool.
Yeah, it's a cool place.
That's awesome. I really appreciate you spending some time on the call today.
Me too.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but did you catch anything from Mega Camp that you wanted to share?
Actually, I did not attend Mega Camp.
All right, next time, right?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, feel free to stay on the call. We're going to spend some time kind of go around the horn today and share some stories and some ahas from any of the classes that people attended yesterday. So again, thank you, Zachary, for
I think Bill's walking back to his office. I'll finish that. Thanks, Zach.
No, thank you. And
I
I do
look
have to
forward to
go. I
the-
have my huddle in 4 minutes, so I'm going to call on right now. So, but thank you so much for the invite. And if you guys need anything, feel free to reach out. I'd love to help anybody any way I can.
Thank you so much.
Can you
Look
put
forward-
your information in the chat really quickly?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank
Ebony.
you.
Thanks, Zach.
Bye. You're welcome.
Bye.
Okay. Who wants to start? Who?
I didn't attend Mega Camp, but can I add something to the conversation we just had?
Yes, please.
So my listing, we accepted an offer on Friday, and the offer we accepted was from a Keller Williams agent. And I just want to point out that he was the only agent that called and asked me what was important to my seller. So I told him that I was really impressed with that, because that's something that we always, and you've taught us to do that. So
Thank you. And
that was really impressive.
Thank you for that, Donna. And that's also what Zach did. The other agent did too, I have to say. So both, I mean, so close.
What I don't think you guys heard what I was trying to say a second ago, but what it is I've got I don't know, probably 50 agents across the city that I've got great relationships with. And if I'm working with a purchaser and they happen to have the listing and my buyer wants that home, then I can just call and say, hey, Candace, how's it going? Right? We talk about business and life and the family and all that stuff. And I say, hey, 123 Hill Street, what's it going to take to win? And she says, oh my gosh, I can't wait to have a transaction with you again. Just give me this and this and this. And by the way, that would be the best offer for her seller. I'm not suggesting that she give me a chance when it doesn't represent her seller properly, or give the best terms to the seller. But it's always nice to get a great co-op agent on the other side. And the relationships that we are forging are going to be super, super important as you move through your business and build your business. Do you want to add anything to that, Candace?
No, just what you said. And that's why even the agent that didn't win the offer, I'll be in relationship with this agent because she's a tremendous agent. She just doesn't have the tools that we have. And I want to help her. And, I think that we heard that all day yesterday, is be intentional and come from a place of service.
Beautiful.
Can I add one more thing to
Please.
that?
Hey,
I
Donna,
had an open
Donna,
house.
you don't have to ask for permission every time. Just say what
I
you want
know.
to say.
Thank you. On Saturday, I had an open house at my listing at a townhome in Austell. And there's been a lot of activity in that neighborhood. And there was another home at the other end of the community, the other end unit that's away from the street. Mine is on the street. And that had gone under contract, fell out of contract, and went under contract again, but was still in due diligence. So there was an EXP agent that brought his clients to my open house. They loved the unit, but they did not like that it was next to the street. So I told him about the unit at the end, having recently gone under contract a second time, and that they were still in due diligence, and that he should contact them to find out about putting in a backup offer. Well, he took my advice and did that. And the other contract was actually falling through again. And he was able to make an offer and get under contract with his clients. And they were very happy and very appreciative. So I thought that was an awesome experience for both of us.
And he
That
will
just gave me
remember, he will
chills.
remember you.
Yes, we had a conversation afterwards. He was very excited and felt very, very blessed. So I felt that way as well.
Thank you for sharing that, Donna. I always suggest, just like you keep a database of your neighbors and your friends and your past clients and all that kind of stuff, your data bank, as Jason Abrams says, is you should be keeping a database of agents, right? Maybe there's a cool training opportunity that you could share along, and particularly if they're not with Keller Williams, that could be a great opportunity for you. Or you have a new listing and you want to give all of your peer group and the agents that you've worked with in the past kind of a heads up on it. It's again, remember, we're supposed to expand our network every day, right? Agents are sometimes just as valuable as the buyers and the sellers. Okay. Who wants to share some experiences? Let's start with somebody who has not been to Mega Camp before. Tell me a little bit about, if you're willing, what did you experience versus what you were expecting to experience?
I guess I'll go, Bill, because I'm so new.
Well, you're in the upper left-hand corner, so if you didn't say anything, I was going to call on you.
I would say it's probably exactly what I expected. Informationally, like, better than I expected, but like the setup wise, the exhibitor hall is a little funny. I kind of wish they had those like pre-recorded where you can just kind of go in there and watch what you want. But like you said, like, it's up for like 60 days after, so we can just go back and watch what we want. I kind of started my day off with Keller offers yesterday, and so I actually, while I was taking it, signed up to get certified on the 1st and the 15th. Because I really thought what they said, like, really hit home to like just the market right now and just in general, and how we can use Keller offers, especially the ready to sell program, for investors and sellers, especially like for sale by owners. We can really use that heavily to leverage, for in the best interest of ourselves and the sellers. So I thought that was really cool, because I know that we've talked about it here and there, but I never really knew what it did or how it could benefit a seller. So that was really cool for me. I think I wrote down 12 times in all capital letters, know your numbers. Just how important that is, from literally the market numbers to your own numbers, and just knowing personally and in your business where you're at is insanely important to your success.
Right. Let me push you a tiny bit on that.
Sure.
Why do you think that, or what did you hear that kind of cemented that idea in your mind?
Self-accountability.
Okay.
I'd say, especially the agent that spoke, where she found herself in like $175,000 of debt and nowhere to go, kind of thing, and nothing happening, and she was able to pull herself out of that in like a year, like just less than a year, simply by writing it down and knowing exactly what she owed where, and using the debt snowball, which I've been using for a while now, so I'm familiar with that. But that whole process of, I would say, self-accountability and just being aware, because you can't do anything about it if you don't know exactly what it is.
That's right. That's exactly right. One thing that kind of just stood out to me like crazy was just how big some of these people think. What did you guys experience with respect to that? You can go, Melissa, if you want.
I mean, the only thing that comes to me is there's never any limits to these people.
Yeah.
They just don't exist.
They roll off 150 million like it's 3 transactions.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I kind of thought that too. I thought that there was so many, they do think big, and a lot of these people have big teams too. And, and I thought, gosh, I'm so far away from some of this, but it's all good to think, okay, this is how it all sort of rolls out, and where you can go with it, and how do you grow this business. It's hard to, I think, when you're starting out, to like figure out how it grows, or, there's some that seem to be just a person, or, with some assistance, and other people that have like coordinating teams, that I,
Yeah, like the marketing specialists and the
Yeah. Well, it happens, guys, one person at a time, right? It happens when you yourself go and create so many opportunities with buyers and sellers that you can't handle it all alone. What I really mean when I say that is you can't handle it all alone and maintain the quality of life that you were seeking when you first got into the business and deliver the level of customer experience that people have come to expect from you and your brand. Make sense? So yeah, you probably could take another call, but you just won't sleep, or you won't have dinner with your family, or you won't be able to take a vacation, or you won't be able to go on date night, right? So I was speaking to somebody yesterday on the way home, and we were talking about they were really at the very beginning of their business, basically. And we talked about this person had this idea that prospects would be more likely to work with her because she expressed that she was always available, right? Like, hey, you can get me at any time, right? Don't you want to work with me? And I had to work with her on that, because it's not necessarily about accessibility. It's about the partnership, right? And creating a wonderful experience and delivering top-notch service and education and training and everything. Does that make sense? Okay, who else?
And there was one agent on there who was a solo agent with one admin or two admin who did 200 transactions. Do I remember that?
Yeah, I'd like to see her schedule. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, no.
I thought that as many times as I also said, know your numbers, the other big thing I kept hearing over and over was hire the right people.
Yes, I was actually about to say that. Did y'all see what Andy posted in the Georgia Legacy group this morning? He said, you do not need to be a better manager.
Oh,
You
yeah.
need to be a better recruiter.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you guys? What do you, Ryan, when you hear that, what do you think?
I think that it means that hiring the right people and getting in the right people will make the job happen better than, like, you can only manage the wrong people for so long. Like, they're not going to do the right job if it's the wrong person.
Right.
So you need to, like, get the right people in, even if you mess up the first, I think someone said 3 or 4 times,
Right.
and then it'll take off.
I think there's 2 things that are popping into my mind. One is, I think Steve Jobs said this as well. He says, you don't hire a talented person and then tell them what to do. You hire a talented person so they can tell you what to do, right? And if you hire the wrong person, you end up micromanaging them. You end up, being all in their space because they're not doing the job properly. And, they've got a mindset that's not optimal because they're worried about whether you're enjoying their work. It's just a big mess, and you got the wrong person there. But if you hire the right person, they solve all the problems you thought you had, and they solve all the problems you didn't even realize you had. And they don't need your micromanagement. And quite frankly, they don't want it, right? But the interesting thing is that type of person does not appear in your world because you ask for it. That type of person appears in your world because you earn the right to be into business with them. And they see working with you as a way to get to where they want to go faster. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Bill, that the ending part was what I was gonna mention, that I thought was a good point, because I feel like, everybody kind of always wants something out of a situation. So it's just like, if we're both being beneficial to each other,
Mhm.
it always makes the situation seem more, appealing to one to kind of keep growing the company, your business, everything, when it just kind of flows smoothly and everybody is helping each other get to their next level.
Yeah, thank you for adding that. I think we heard that was a theme we heard a lot yesterday, which is just give, and then give some more, and then give some more, right? Because you've got to bring value to the relationship. You can't just suck it all from the person that you're hanging out with, right? You got to give some, because people don't like being around takers, right? They like to get something in return. Ebony, I saw that big smile. What are you thinking right now?
I completely agree because I feel like my heart is always coming from a given place. And sometimes I look at that as a flaw because I naturally do it. And I'm kind of learning to surround myself with people where it's going to be give and take, where it's in balance. Because if I have nothing left to give, if my cup is empty, how can I keep pouring into yours? And piggybacking off of what you said with, hiring the right person, if you vet the person for what it is that you want to do and they have that mindset that you have, you don't have to micromanage anybody because they got it. And I'd like when I get to that point of my career to whereas I'm there, I want somebody to be offended by me trying to micromanage them. That's when I know I've got the perfect person. It's just like, hey, I got this. Why did you hire me if you need to? Did you do this? Did you do that? Like if I've done what it is that I was supposed to do on the front end, the back end is going to take care of itself.
That's right. And you're going to get to where you need to go. The rocket ship that person that you're guiding, that person is now hopped onto, is now bigger and more valuable to the community. You're able to offer more to your prospects, and you're going to get to where you want to go faster, right? You can't, don't keep score. Just keep giving, right? And do it with the right attitude. And by the way, Ebony, can I share something that, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't share this, but that wasn't always your attitude.
Not at all, Bill. You know I'm an open book.
Right. So first of all, what we're talking about here is not necessarily natural, particularly with salespeople, right? So you've gone through a bit of an evolution.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether I would say it's an evolution. At one point you thought differently and it almost changed like this because maybe we've been working together for a while or you heard something elsewhere, but I feel like there was a moment when you realized that it's not about you, it's about them.
Mm-hmm. And I'm still growing. I've had epiphanies just today on my walk. Like that is like, okay, let me go ahead and write this down because I want to implement this. So every day I want to grow and be somebody different. I don't want to be who I was yesterday. Like I want to keep evolving every day. So this helps. And, a lot of people, forgive me, but my husband always says, well, I don't understand why you're on the calls, why you're this, because I don't know what I know until I actually get out there. And I'm a lot more smarter, in the real estate world because of this class, because that I'm showing up and I'm investing in myself. So yes, it had a lot, my mindset change has a lot to do with me getting up in the morning, whether I want to or not, and getting on this call because something always changes. I just have to.
And if I can be, while we're on the openness topic, like you're sitting at a workstation, you are dressed for real estate.
Yes.
You are ready to go.
I'm ready. And that's hard. That's not me every day, but I'm going to keep working at it until it is me every day.
Well, if you go back to videos from a year ago in our YouTube library, you're going to see Ebony, running around, doing her exercise and, wearing her workout clothes, right? There's been a big evolution.
Yep.
I'm proud of you. I'm very proud of you. The reason why you're doing what you're doing, just so everyone understands this, is because there's families that need you. There are families that without you will make poor decisions that will impact their wealth and the schools their kids go to and the way them and their families think. You see what I'm saying? The reason why you're making that extra call is because there are people in your community who need you. And Donna, you say that every morning, do you not?
Yes, I do. That's my morning affirmation.
What do you say every morning? Can you share?
Every day, someone somewhere in my city needs my services. It is my job today to find that person.
Man, that's so good. I love that. I love that.
What I hear from both of you is the part of the theme of yesterday was intentionality. Both of you are expressing intentionality.
That's right. That's 100% right.
That's awesome.
So Melanie, you were in and out of a couple classes yesterday too. what were your thoughts? Man, you've had an exciting week or two, huh? With kind of getting thrown into real estate and then going to mega camp almost immediately. What's going through your brain right now?
So mega camp, I'll be honest, mega camp for me, like 90% of it is just kind of because I'm not even close to there. But you know, I'm in it listening. However, I will say the session in the afternoon yesterday with that, like what, I can't remember what the title of it was, but I put it in the chat of what we were doing. It's the one where the two ladies, the blonde lady and Marietta, and then
Courtney Newton.
I guess so. So anyway,
Yeah.
that one was really interesting to me because, and then there was that lady out of South Carolina. Now I can't remember if that was all the same session or if that was different sessions, but a couple of things that they said that really stood out to me. And one of them was really focusing on just the relationships with people. And that goes back to what you and I talked about yesterday. And that, I mean, relaxed me so much of just stay in touch with people, just chit chat, you know, just care about farming and cultivating and maintaining your relationship with them versus trying to, you know, get something, right? So that was huge. And then the second thing was them talking about, you know, that whole session by Opendoor, because I had a listing appointment, which was kind of crazy for me. I made 5 phone calls on my ever in my real estate life. I've made 5 phone calls. I got a listing appointment on my 5th phone call, which is like, I think magical. But I got out to the house and the guy, I know I'm competing against Opendoor. And so it was interesting to me attending the session on Opendoor because rather than trying to fight it, I'm working with it.
Yes.
And it actually kind of sparked an idea of a couple that I met months ago on an investment thing. And I got them an estimate through Opendoor as well and sent it to them, which may or may not be the best time to open all that up right now because I know you're trying to get quick. But anyway, those were some takeaways that I got from that was really, really helpful. Rather than fighting against and trying to win, working with and just listening and talking and seeing like, okay, well, hey, let's explore this. Let's figure this out because I want to look in here too. I want to see what they have to say. What are they going to do? Let me help you. Let me be with you.
Exactly. Because when you're sitting in that room trying to decide whether you want to take your approach, which is saying like, hey, let's go on this journey together and see what Opendoor wants to offer you, right? Or, well, Opendoor is going to do this and not do this and do this and not do this. And I don't know whether it's the best thing for you. Well, the thing is the seller is listening and watching you because you're the one telling them that you're going to protect their interest and you're going to look out for all the things that are important to them in the transaction. And neither one of you know whether Opendoor is competitive.
Right.
Right. So until you find out, neither one of you should be expressing any opinion.
Well, and I'll tell you this too. So I did get 2 estimates for Opendoor for these 2, you know, potential clients, and they have a 5% service fee that they deduct.
Mm-hmm. So what I think what you're finding, first of all, nothing's free.
Right.
So at least they don't call it a convenience fee, right?
Or
at
a commission.
Right. At least they imply that they're actually doing something, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Opendoor and Zillow have changed their strategy a little bit in the last year, if you guys haven't noticed. Before their offers are way under market, right? And what I think they're realizing is there's value to, you know, owning a lot of homes, and there's value to having a lot of market share, right? And so their offers are getting more and more competitive, and oftentimes now are overvalued, right? So there's a good chance, Melanie, that seller's offer that is solicited from Opendoor might be better than they can get on the open market. And that convenience fee, that might be the gap between market and what they're willing to pay for it, right? Or they're betting on the fact that if it takes 2 months to turn the home, the values will have gone up again because of the comp that they created.
And I'll say this too.
So they're moving the market.
Well, and when I went through them, I actually called and spoke to them on the phone too, to kind of navigate their system. And as an agent, and again, any of you guys who have more experience in this than I do, because obviously I have 5 phone calls worth
1
of
week.
experience. They'll pay me a percent they'll pay me a 1% commission for bringing that person to them. So if I'm going to lose them anyway to Opendoor, I mean, and maybe that's a loser's attitude, I don't know, but if they'll pay me a 1% commission. If they're going to get a better offer and they're going to do it anyway, I'll take
You may as well be involved.
$3,000. I mean, sure, let me help it. Here you go. How can I help? I don't know what else to do. You know, maybe I'll change my attitude later as I know more, but yeah, I'd happily take $3,000.
Well, what you may have technically lost the commission. However, you've won the relationship. And there was a reference to this book yesterday. I forget what session it was in, but it's called The Infinite Game. And it's by a gentleman named Simon Sinek, Sinek. He wrote Start With Why, Find Your Why, one or two other books, but he's got one now called The Infinite Game. And the idea here is it's not about like winning like the month or winning the year. This is an eternal game, right? So Melanie, in 5 years, when that person's ready to sell that home and maybe Opendoor is not around, right? Maybe you'll get another opportunity. When that person has a great experience and has some extra cash, and when they look at their bank statement, they say, thank God Melanie helped me through that. Let me see if I can go find her a piece of business to send her today. And I'll become a great referral partner for them. So we just got to remember the long game is the relationships. The short game is whether you actually take the listing or not. Obviously that's important, but don't get flustered if it doesn't happen. You just got to get right back out there and start talking to more people. Okay, who else? Let's do another 1 or 2 shares. Who else had some epiphanies from their participation in Mega Camp?
I'll share something quick.
Yeah, please.
I thought when Gary was talking, or the other people were talking, what he said, or the value of our business is dependent on the quality of the relationship we build.
Yes.
I thought that was just phenomenal, and just, you know, being intentional and having value and just bringing value to them. And, you know, the business will come. It's just making those connections and having that intentionality and the quality there.
Yeah. You know, what thought crossed my mind when you were saying that, don't you guys find it interesting that there's probably close to 40,000 agents at Keller Williams that have paid to attend this program? And Gary basically comes out and he says, hey guys, and then he goes right into the economic data, right? There's not a lot of fanfare. There's not a lot of like, you know, clap for me or any of that kind of stuff. It's, hey, you're supposed to be the economist of choice for your real estate or for your prospects. And so we're going to talk about the economy, right? And maybe you weren't expecting to hear things like unemployment rate and, you know, affordability percentages and interest rates and all these kind of things. But you better be familiar with these concepts, because when you understand those trends, then you can understand where the market's going and you can prepare your business to be awesome at that.
I agree. Like, I'm not doing Mega Camp this time, but I've done Mega Camp. And what I'm learning is that, because I remember that when he was talking about that, and it fascinated me then, because it's just like everyday life has so much to do with real estate. Like, it is just like literally hand in hand. And now that I'm at the point where I'm starting to understand what it is that he's saying, when it comes to a market stat or something, immediately I know it. And I think that that's what gives Keller Williams the edge on other agents, because when I'm conversing back and forth with them, they're looking at me like a deer in headlights, like, what is she talking about? You know, and it's just like, oh my gosh, I went to Mega Camp, I learned this, I paid attention, you know, I'm active here, and it's all starting to sink in. So that I love it, because that just, you know, it pushes you, it puts you on top. Like, you got a head on, you know, an edge on the game, because you know something that other people don't know.
Yeah, not only do they not know, but they don't even know that it's important to know, right? And whether your clients are vocalizing this or not, they expect you to know. And they're hoping and praying you know. because they're putting their investment choices in your hands to some degree. Does that make sense? All right, perfect timing, Michelle. Can you share some of what you learned yesterday, including what you were talking about in the top 20 group yesterday?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I've been to Mega Camp once before.
Show us what you look like today.
Oh, I'm putting my makeup on here.
That's okay.
I'm like literally sitting in
Beautiful. Beautiful.
my makeup chair getting dressed. So it's probably distracting to watch me put my mascara on. Anyway, you know, I've been to one mega camp before, or two mega camps and two family reunions. And yesterday was so tidy. It was well executed. All the speakers were just proficient in their words and concise. There was definitely a common theme, and forgive me if I'm repeating what others have said, because there was definitely a common theme about intentionality. I heard that a lot, and it resonated with me in a big way. Intentionality, following the models, following the systems. We say it over and over again. Giving. Well, for me, my biggest aha was that for the last 2 years, I've kind of strayed from what the typical lead gen tells you to do. We all have. We've as a company, we've shifted and said, you know what, a two-way conversation can be an Instagram conversation. It can be a Facebook message. A relationship can be built organically on Facebook. And the reason why they've started saying that is because all the megas were doing it and finding that it was working. And I was kind of doing it organically, where it was like, let me try this, you know, or, hey, I'm getting some traction here. And so we started doubling down on it. My assistant and I started doubling down on it, and we see results all the time from that. And so I heard a lot more concrete ways, you know, not just willy-nilly Facebook stuff, but like concrete ways to build your database using social media in a big way. Events, just loving on your people. And it's so been what we've done. And it kind of gave me affirmation of like, I'm on the right path. I'm doing the right things.
Yes.
I just need to be more organized about the way I'm doing them, have more leverage to do them, and be intentional about doing them, you know? And I think one of the biggest things I got from the Sarah Reynolds one-on-one.
Isn't she absolutely amazing?
Oh my gosh. Have I been living under a rock? Who is she? Is she Monica Reynolds' daughter?
No, she lives in she's in like the DC, Maryland, Northern Virginia area.
Oh my gosh, guys, when these are available to go back and watch, just go back and watch it. It's a powerful conversation between her and Gary. Not to be sexist, but if you're a woman, go back and watch it, particularly because it really just resonated with me, with her her talking about leadership and how hiring the right people. And I know a lot of us aren't there yet, but you will get there. And you need to hear this for the future, is that leadership is about getting out of people's way, hiring the right people, and then getting out of our way, because we're only enabling them if we're like scooping in and trying to save people all the time on our team. And I loved that, because I have fears, you know, about hiring people and then letting everything go, or hiring someone who's better than me, who's right out the gate better than me, or who's going to even be even better than me because they're smarter or have it more together, or they're not as ADHD as I am, you know, that they'll get bored, or they'll be like, oh my gosh, I could do this without her. And what I heard was, you know, I wrote it down and I don't remember it now, and I don't have my notes in front of me, but it was your role as a leader is to cast the vision.
Mm-hmm.
You remember what it was? It was like, cast the vision.
Oh, I've certainly heard that phrase before. Your job as the leader is to cast the vision and go find talented people.
Yeah, and then get out of their way.
Exactly. You don't hire somebody and then tell them what to do. You hire somebody and then they tell you, hey, get out of the way. Those are old templates. You know, you're doing it the old way. I'm going to take this thing over. Get out of the way.
Yeah.
Give me the credit card.
And to give people that Because I really want to help other people have a big life and bring them into Keller Williams and introduce them to this company that helps you not just be a realtor, but be a better mom and a better wife and a better community leader. And getting out of their way just means giving them the room to grow and be their best version of themselves. I just think that is what a gift to be able
it
to
kind of reminded me, we hired an organizer shortly after we moved this last time. And, you know, the organizer walks in the door and I say, okay, I want that there and that there. She's like,
yeah.
give me your credit card. I'm going to fix all this. Just give me your credit card. You shut up. This is what you thought was good. I'm here to fix all this.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I had a part-time marketing coordinator years ago who would come to our house 3 days a week. And when I first started working with her, I said, you know, I'd like to get this, this, and this done. And she goes, I know what to do. You just get out of here and go sell homes. And right. She gave me this sweater. She'd sometimes cook dinner for us. I mean, she was amazing. And she got so much done that I didn't even know I wanted done. It was amazing.
I love that.
And I've tried to recruit her back, but she doesn't have to work anymore.
So by the way, I just posted in the help chat a link for a podcast called Empire Building. Okay. That is hosted by Sarah Reynolds. And I'm trying to think of who the other women are that do it. One is Wendy Papazan, who's Jay's wife. Wendy runs if anything, it should be referred to the other way around. Wendy has like I think top 20 team in the whole company. She's in multiple markets. She's not like Jay's wife. Jay is probably her husband. Okay. VG Williams, who runs Ben Kinney's talent acquisition, I believe. So she's a huge top executive in Ben Kinney's company. Ben is the #1 agent in all of Keller Williams. They all do this podcast together. So men and women alike. Chris, we're in the minority today. Would certainly benefit from hearing the way these women think, right? And all of the amazing initiatives that they've put out there and all the amazing business that they built to help their community members. Thank you.
I would say I listened to it, several of the episodes, and it is good. And they talk about, I mean, they all have kids, some young kids, some old, you know, but the whole balance. And you're like, wow, these are super women, you know.
Yeah.
You go,
well, they're super women really because they're super smart and they're willing to invest in themselves by bringing talented people into their world to do the things that they don't have the time or the passion to do. Right.
Yeah. Can I say something to Michelle?
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. So Michelle, you really don't know me like that, but let me tell you, I have been watching you since I joined Keller Williams, and it's probably almost 1.5 years. And just listening to what it is that you're saying, it's just like you give me so much inspiration, so much, because where you started from and listening to your story to where, as you said, you know, for the first year or so, you were like the student and you soaked up everything and you absorbed everything. And to watch where it is that you now, and then when I see that you're capping and when I see that you're where it is that you want to go, you give me inspiration all the time. And I tell that to other people. Like, I'm like, hey, you want to be on the team? Reach out to Michelle. She is doing it. It's another person on this call. I think she is Markia. Love her too. But it's just like silently, it's a lot of us newer agents in the back who are watching what you are doing and modeling off of you. And I can't wait to be where it is that you are. So I just wanted to let you know that.
Oh my God.
I love hearing that.
That means a lot, because that's what I want in this, really, is for you guys out there that are struggling like I was struggling, to not give up. Because if I had given up, I would have the same life I had before, and that would have been a tragedy. Not that it was a bad life, but I know that there's so much potential for all of you, and it's only with this company. And if you quit now and you go somewhere else, the road ends. And so I don't want that. It would just be such a shame for you guys. You're going to make it, you know, you're going to make it. So I appreciate that. It means a lot.
Can I tell a story about your intentionality, Michelle?
Oh, sure.
So Michelle came from a different KW office. She was there for roughly a year and a half or so, came to Roswell, had not ever had a transaction. Okay, very shortly after she came to Roswell, we selected, I was TL, we selected the ALC. Okay, for those that maybe don't know this, the ALC is comprised of agents that are in the top 20% of production at the office, and then they apply to be on the Agent Leadership Council and go through a series of interviews with the team leader, and then the team leader selects, right? So the way that it worked is once we selected the ALC, obviously she was not chosen. She walks into my office with a letter and says, I've not sold any homes, but I will be on your ALC next year. Watch me.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was so blown away that I even was nominated to be on it. And then when I went through the interview process, I thought, well, you know, it won't be this year. It's just the first year of being nominated, which was great. And then when he called and said I got on, I couldn't believe it. I mean,
that's intentionality, right? That is saying I have to become the person who the leadership sees as somebody who has influence, right? And can make huge contributions. Right? Yeah. Have you ever heard the line that your goals need to be so big, you have to become a different person to achieve them? Have you ever heard that? Like, let's say I set a goal to run a marathon at the end of the year. This guy ain't running a marathon. I'm going to have to become somebody different in order to run a marathon.
Yeah.
I'm going to have different habits. I'm going to have different nutrition. I'm going to wake up earlier. I'm going to train more. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you've got goals that you're not quite sure how you're going to get there, right? I want to make 200 grand, 300 grand, 400 grand, whatever. I want to have dinner with my family every night. Trust, there are people that have done it before. We just have to look at how they did it, and you can get a glimpse into some of their mistakes so you don't make them. You can get a glimpse into how they spent their money wisely and not wisely and not make those mistakes. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Can I add that someone said, well, to what you said, Aubrey said, why are you shooting to do double units this year? Shoot to do 46, shoot to do something high and possible. And I'm like, well, I don't want to be disappointed. And he said, it's about who you become trying to do 46 units instead of 28. Yeah. That's the needle that moves you forward. It doesn't matter if you do 46, it's that you're going to have to, you know, create different models and systems and a calendar and have more people. And he's right. It's all about mindset. And that's where, when I came to this office and I was like, I'm going to do this, like, I've got to do this. It was like, well, then I've got to emulate the behaviors of the people who are doing it. And Lorelei and Joanne Curtin are showing up in the office every morning at 9 a.m. sitting at a desk. Even if all I do is sit at the desk and I don't know what to do and I don't know who to call, I've got to start somewhere. And that's what it was. I've got to start showing up at the office every day at 9, dressed, ready to go, sitting at my desk, looking at my database. There were days I sat there and went, but that taking on those behaviors.
If you do that, you'll sit there and say, well, I'm not sure what to do, so maybe I'll study the market a little bit. Or I'm not sure what to do, so maybe I'll practice my contracts a little bit. Or maybe I'll put together some kind of, piece of marketing or something. Like, if you're sitting at your workstation as if you had a job, you will do the work, right? Yeah. If you're running all over the place and there's no order to your day, it probably won't happen.
Yeah.
Right. Remember, there's a line in, interestingly enough, it's in Hold, the book that Gary Keller wrote on investing, that says, if you treat it like a hobby, it will pay you like a hobby.
Oh, well, yeah, I love that.
Right.
Yeah.
If you treat it like a hobby, it will pay you like a hobby. So ask yourself, am I treating it like a hobby right now? I'm not implying anyone is, but ask yourself that, right? And if you believe you are to some degree, say, how can I make a tiny little improvement today? Okay. All right. We're gonna end here so everyone can hop on. I want to encourage everyone to watch the Cultural Summit. The Cultural Summit is today at 10 a.m. It's one of the big events. I was I was actually lucky enough to be involved in the Cultural Summit a couple of years ago with Mo. This is literally probably the best woman executive I've ever seen in my entire life. This is an incredibly special woman. And I've been fortunate enough to spend a little time with her, but this is a really, really valuable session. So please take the time to go to that. That's called the Cultural Summit. That is today at 10 o'clock. And remember that the office is, or the leadership team is sponsoring and hosting an event tonight. I believe it's 4:30 to 6:30, and it's at Pure. Is that right?
Yep.
All right, Pure from 4:30 to 6:30. There'll be some cocktails and food and that kind of thing. So I will be making a special appearance, which is not particularly common.
We should be so lucky.
All right. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks for everything. Write some notes. We're going to do the same thing again tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.